welcome to the second part of the Color With Me series, where we are coloring the leaves page from Magical Jungle by Johanna Basford. Let's begin with the materials. So I'll be using Polychromos pencils and one Spectrum Noir color blend pencil, as well as a white and a black from Prismacolor. And of course, I am going to be using the Languau calligraphy white pen for embellishments. The colors that we'll be using are Polychromos Deep Cobalt Green 158, Polychromos Cobalt Green 156, Polychromos Dark Indigo 159, I think that is. Sorry, 157, and the Spectrum Noir Duck Egg. This is the lightest pencil of the same shade as these other two. If you don't have a Spectrum Noir pencil, you can use Light Aqua from Prismacolor. So let's go to our page. So it's this one, and as I said, we've already based with Inktense. And the color palette that we're working on is this one from Sarah Renee Clark's color catalog, or color cubes if you have the cards in the boxes. It's 448, and the colors are pistachio, mulberry, terracotta, burnt sienna, turquoise, and teal. And we are starting with the pistachio color. Now, as you can see, in the actual color palette, it's a little bit more muted, and I'm going for slightly brighter, but that's okay. If you want, you can do more muted colors and just choose pencils that will suit that color palette. Okay, so I've gotten us zoomed in, and I have put a piece of board underneath so that it doesn't get dirty on the page underneath, and I have a piece of paper to rest my hand on so that I don't smudge any pencil. And we are going to start with this leaf over here. Now, if you watched the previous video, you know that we left this white section white. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put an entire layer of pencil with 156 onto everything, including this white part. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to have this colored section with Inktense slightly darker, and then this white section slightly lighter. Okay, so it's basically the vein of the leaf that we want it to be a little bit lighter. So with light pressure, you just go over the entire leaf with this pencil. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Now, where this pencil, where this leaf overlaps this leaf, you just go around, okay, with an extra layer. So it is one full layer over the entire leaf, everything, including the middle section. Yes, and then when you get to the part where the leaf overlaps, yes, you just put one more layer of the lighter pencil, okay? Because this leaf is putting a cast shadow onto this leaf. Okay. Now we're going to go to our next pencil, which is Deep Cobalt Green. Okay, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a sharpen. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to deepen up the shadows where this leaf overlaps this leaf. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Circular motions. Okay, around the leaf. Okay, you can go into the other color a little bit. Right, I like to do circular motions. Circular motions makes the blending easier. Okay. We are also going to put this color around the vein of the leaf. Okay, so here. Again, by doing this, we will make this vein stick out a little bit, because if you've ever seen leaves in nature, which I'm sure you have, you will notice that the vein of the leaf sticks out a bit. Okay. Now, by putting down the Inktense first, we got rid of most of the white of the paper, but because Inktense dries lighter than when you first activate it, it will still allow us to keep the highlight. Okay, so I've gone into those areas and also this side. Okay, circular motions. Right, around the tip here, leave the highlight. Okay, can blend a little bit. Okay, deepen up these shadows here in the corners. Okay, light pressure. If you use light pressure, you can build up lots of layers and then you get a lovely result. Okay, here in the corner, you can actually make the whole thing a little bit darker. I always flick my pencil here at the top so as not to tear the paper. And here again, I think we could deepen up our shadows here. Okay. Right. Okay. Next, we're going to take that duck egg pencil. Oh, let me give it a sharpen. Okay. Now, let's just talk about the Spectrum Noir pencils for a second. They have a fabulous color range. I really love their light colors. Unfortunately, these pencils break if you look at them wrong. So I try not to make my point too long because otherwise it'll break. And even if you don't make it long and you make it short like this, it might break. So I'm warning you that if the pencil breaks, then I'm going to have to stop to sharpen it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this pencil and we're going to again go over the entire leaf to blend out the colors we've already put down. Okay, now because this is a lighter pencil, it is going to lighten up the two pencils that we have already put down. Okay, all right, so circular motions, you can go over the colors you've already put. And what this is going to do is it's going to blend out the colors we've already got, and it's also going to lighten up the whole leaf. And another thing that it's going to do is that it's going to burnish just a little bit the tooth of the paper, okay? That doesn't mean we won't be able to put down other colors, we will, but it will burnish just a little bit. So it's medium pressure to hard pressure in the areas where you want it to be a little bit more burnished. Okay, and as you can see, it is blending those other two colors together. Now, the Spectrum Noir pencil, like Prismacolor, is primarily a wax-based pencil. So it is going to blend really nicely by smushing. Okay. Okay, we also want to go over the section in the middle. Okay. And as you can see, it's giving us a nice vein to this leaf. Okay, so we just keep blending. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to add a couple more veins to this leaf, and we are going to deepen up our shadows. And for that, we are going to use the dark indigo 157. So around where the cast shadow of this leaf is, we go around. Okay, in the edge here, sharp pencil, circular motions, round where the cast shadow is. We can even go a little bit further out. Okay, there we go. To create the cast shadow. Okay, around in the corners here. Okay. Okay, another thing that I want to do is to put like the other side of these sharp points here. So just lightly flick and put extra little veins. Okay, we're going to blend it out. All right, so I've added like the other side of this leaf vein. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our lightest Polychromos, Cobalt Green 156, and lightly blend over everything again. Okay, blend out the shadow that we did with the dark indigo. And this shadow that we've got with the cobalt, the deep cobalt green. Okay, hold on, someone's calling me. Sorry about that. That was the pet store telling me that the biscuits that my dog likes have come back into stock. So yeah, very important to get the biscuits that he likes because he's kind of fussy. If you don't give him the biscuits that he likes, then he turns up his nose at everything else. Anyway, but that's dogs for you. I've been watching animal videos on Threads, ones where their owners give their dogs vegetables. So this morning I was cutting up a cucumber and I gave my dog a piece because he was like standing there staring at me, and he did exactly what all of those dogs in those videos do. He turned up his nose at it. Anyway, so animals, you gotta love them. Okay, so there we go. And now what we're going to do is we want to deepen up the shadows even more. So we're going to use the black. Okay, I'm not sure I can still sharpen my little black. This is my tiny little Prismacolor black. And very lightly. Now, let's talk about black for a second. Black pencils are, black is what I call a dead color. It has no real life of its own, and you use it sparingly only to deepen up the shadows, and we will go over it with other colors to make sure that it comes alive. Because if you just add black without anything else, it's going to make the leaf look matte and still and not very realistic. So just a little bit of black right up next to this leaf, okay, for the shadow, right, and in right up next to these edges, okay. But adding black will give a deeper shadow, but you have to be careful not to overdo it because black is a problematic color. Okay, too much and it overshadows the whole page. Right. Okay, that's it. And we're going back in with our deep indigo to blend that out. So by adding the deep indigo, we take away the matteness or the deadness of the black pencil. Okay. Right. A little bit more into the highlight area here too. Okay, blending it out. Okay, and now again with our next darkest color, which is deep cobalt green, blending some more. You just go over it and then a little bit into the highlight area. Okay. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I enjoy layering pencils. So one thing you have to, yes, be with layering is patient, but the more you build up, the more the colors come to life, the item that you're coloring comes to life, and then it's worth it. Not everybody's like me. Some people like, just 1 or 2 layers and then smush it all together, and then that's okay too. Any style that suits you is fine. Whatever, makes you happy with your coloring. Okay, again, back to our cobalt green. Okay, here you can even skip the shadow areas because you don't want to make them too light. So I skip the shadow areas and I go straight to the highlighted area. Okay, this is the point when you can fix up any areas that you want to have deeper, okay, or lighter. Okay, and duck egg, only in the highlight areas. Okay, and in the middle here. Okay, now technically our leaf is finished. However, if you want, you can add some embellishments. Okay, so if you want, you can add some dots with a white acrylic paint pen or a gel pen. And as I said, I have learned about these Languau calligraphy pens, and I love them. They're amazing. So I'm just going to add a couple of dots. Oops. Okay, it adds character to the leaf. Okay, yeah. All right, so that is our first leaf done. Let's move on to another leaf of the same color. Okay, so we are going to do, let's do this one. Okay, now unlike the previous leaf here at the top, okay, which is in the corner and so in the shadow, this leaf is more in the middle of the page. So here we have to decide where we want our highlight to be, and I think that I want the highlight to be in this area. So we are going to try to keep this part of the leaf lighter, and then our shadows are going to be under this leaf and under this leaf and under this leaf. Okay, and by doing that, we will leave this part lighter. Okay, so again, we start with our lightest shade of Polychromos, which is Cobalt Green 156, and we just go over everything except that part where we're going to leave the highlight. Okay, so around this leaf, let's just make sure I'm not smudging with my hand, otherwise I will get Inktense residue. All right, so here, okay, light pressure. Again, if you want to get light pressure, hold your pencil further down the barrel and it will automatically lighten up. If you are already light-handed, then you can go closer. Whatever is comfortable for you. And again, we're going to color over with this pencil the section that we left light, so that, yes, it will be lighter. But here's our highlight, so very lightly there. Okay, very lightly there. Around here, just let's go over it so that we don't forget. I sometimes forget, and then I have to go back. Okay, here too. Okay, here can be a bit darker because it's in the shadow. Okay, right, so going back here, around shadows. Okay. Cast shadow here, so a little bit heavier pressure. Okay, here is part of my highlight, so I'm going to only go, it's where my highlight is going to begin. So I'm going only lightly. here, a bit darker. Here my highlight is going to begin, so not too much pressure. Here, cast shadow, so a bit heavier pressure. Okay, circular motions. Okay, again, cast shadow here, a bit heavier. Okay. Highlight area beginning, so lightly. Okay. Again, just very lightly here, because my shadow is over there. Not my shadow, sorry, my highlight. Okay, and over here. Okay, I'm mapping out the colors with this pencil. Okay, I know that my highlight is going to be there, so I'm making sure that I leave it. Okay, and then when I go in with the other pencils, then I know not to go into that area. Okay, there we go. So already we can see that we've got a darker shading over here and around this petal, this leaf, and around this leaf and this one. And we know that this is where our highlight is, and we're leaving it. Okay. Next color. Next color is deep cobalt green 158. And again, we are going to go into the shadow area and make it darker. Okay. And around this leaf. Okay. And over here, we also want this part to be a little bit darker. But careful here, because our shadow area, so I keep saying that, our highlight area is going to be there. Light pressure, circular motions. Here too, around this leaf. Here we can go a little bit further in, here too. Okay. Okay, here it's really dark because here you have this leaf overlapping this one. So you can put a bit more pressure there, and here too. Okay. Okay. When you get to the areas where you're going to blend two colors, if you do flicking motions like this, then the colors will blend more easily. Okay. Okay. Here too. Another thing that I often do is I rotate my pencil so as to keep this sharp point. If you rotate the pencil, then one side doesn't get blunter than the other. This is not so much an issue with Polychromos, because the pencils are primarily oil, and so the lead is hard. But with Prismacolor pencils, which are primarily wax and get very soft, it is a good idea to rotate your pencils. Okay, right, flicking there and here. Also here, if you flick, you also give the leaf some texture. Okay. Kids are playing outside. Okay, here too I want to flick a bit more there so that it'll be easier to blend. Okay, don't be afraid to go back and layer up some more. Okay, As I said, I'm a layerer, so I like doing that. Okay, all around over here for the cast shadow. Okay, right. You can always also take a look back and see how your highlight looks. So if you feel that it needs to be bigger or smaller, you can go over with more pencils, or you can even erase. One of the beauties of the system of layering is that if you've made a mistake, yes, you can always go back and erase, and it will erase the top layer. So that's also a good benefit of layering. Okay, now we're going to go back in with the Spectrum Noir Color Blend Duck Egg, and we're going to go over everything, including the highlight area, okay? But when you get to the highlight area, light pressure. Okay, including this little bit that we left white before. Okay. So circular motions for blending. Okay, and a little bit into the highlight. But here, yes, light pressure. So, because we don't want it to be blended too much, because we've got more layers we will want to add. Okay. Okay, blending. Okay, very important, have a lot of patience. Don't rush it, enjoy the process. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to put in more shadows. So with the dark indigo pencil, we're going to go around this leaf where it's overlapping. Okay, around the edges here, a little bit into the deep cobalt here. Where the leaves meet together, you can deepen up the shadows there, around the edge here. Okay, just to deepen up the shadow a little bit. Again, here around the leaf, around the edge there, around this leaf. In the corner here, here. Okay, and by doing this, you build up the colors and your leaf starts to come alive. Oh, that sounds like a horror movie. Leaf comes alive. Indigo is a great color for shadows. It's not black, so it doesn't have that dead feel to it, and but it's dark. And so it is a very good color for shadows, and it works really nicely with other colors. So greens and reds, it's a great shadow color for those colors. Okay. Right, some flicking motions to add some texture. Okay, but always mindful to keep the highlight. Okay. And don't be afraid to go back in and darken up areas where you feel it needs darkening. we're going to go in with the black. Okay, so I use the Prismacolor black. Again, very, very lightly, not too much, so as not to overshadow the other colors. Here, just in that little area. Okay, very light pressure, very lightly. Yes, not too much. Black is a color we must be very careful with. Okay. There, with the black, we don't really go too much into the highlighted area. Really just in the very deepest shadows. Okay, and now we're going to blend it out with the dark indigo. Okay. Again, not too much into the highlight, just a little bit. Okay, but you can see that the leaf is now really starting to come alive. Okay, right, now we're going back in with our deep cobalt green, bringing back some of this color, leaving the highlight. You can do this with slightly harder pressure. Okay, blending all the colors that we've already put down. Polychromos pencils are fabulous for layering. They're fun for those of us who like to layer. Prismacolors are great for smooshing together. The thing about Prismacolor pencils, one of the great things about them is that you can get so many new colors by blending different colors together. You can still get that with the Polychromos, but with layering. Okay. Oh, I really like that. That is looking really nice. Okay, now we go in with our next color, which is cobalt green. Here only in the highlight area, but of course leaving the lightest highlight area alone. Okay, so that we don't get, we don't want that to be too dark. Okay. And if you do this, the colors blend together so nicely. Okay, and I actually think I want to add some more of this color here as well. Okay, also in the shadow of these leaves. So there, and then leave a highlight in the middle. Sorry about that. Yes, turns out they'd only had 2 boxes of the biscuits and not 4, like she said. But that's okay. That's okay. The 2 boxes will keep him busy until they get more stock. Yeah. Okay. I promise you, he's not going to be hard done by at all, the little prince. Okay. He doesn't like it when we run out of biscuits. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Right. So now we're putting in a little bit of shadow and leaving a highlight in the middle there. Okay, just a little bit. Okay. Right. Okay, now we're going to go in with the duck egg. Let me zoom in a bit more. Okay. Duck egg, yeah. And blend. Okay, blend everything together. Not too much into the shadows, because otherwise you will lighten up the shadows. But of course, even if you lighten up shadows, you can always go in again and put the shadows back. Okay, it's much easier to add shadow than it is highlight. So yeah, always leave your highlight area. Okay, but don't worry so much about the shadows, because you can always go and put back the shadow area if you feel that it needs darkening up. Okay. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I want my my highlight area to actually be a bit lighter. So I'm going to take the Prismacolor white and I am just going to put a little bit of white in to make it stand out a bit more. Okay, this is one of the nice things about the Prismacolor white, is that you can put it over other colors, and because it's so opaque, it will go over the other colors. And you can, even if you've made a bit of a mistake and you need your highlight back, so this is the pencil to do it with. Okay, right, but I want to blend it a bit more, so duck egg, just blend it out a bit more. Okay. Wonderful. And I'm also going to take this white Prisma and just go over the highlight areas of the sides here. Okay. Right, and oh, I think I missed that one. And again with the duck egg, and just blend. Okay. And yes, if you want, you can put a little bit of gel pen, some dots. Okay, right. Okay, so let's zoom out and see what we've got so far. Right, so we have, we've done this one and we've done this one, and I am going to continue all of the other pistachio colored ones off camera, and I'll be back for when we want to do the next color of leaves. So thank you so much for joining me during this second part of the color along for the Leaves in Magical Jungle. I really hope to see you in the next part where we will be doing the next color of leaves. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And if you are enjoying the channel, it will be fabulous if you joined us. So I will see you soon. Bye.